In Texas, we've got a saying, don't start a fight if you can't finish it. Well, let me tell you, I've found myself smack dab in the middle of the meanest, coldest fight of my life. Right there in that ice-cold HOA boardroom sitting across from a bunch of folks who wanted nothing more than to shove me out of the very ranch I'd built from a pile of rocks and cactus, turn it into condos, and call it progress. My vineyard rolled out just past the window, row after row of grapevines shining under the morning sun, my cattle grazing on grass. I planted myself. They called me an outsider, said I didn't belong here, but I was the only one who saw hope in this land when everyone else saw a dump. Sitting in that sterile boardroom, those fluorescent lights beating down like an interrogation lamp, I couldn't help but drift back 15 years, 3 deployments, and a battered body looking for peace. I still hear Sergeant Martinez in my head. Freedom ain't handed to you, son. You gotta build it. And that's what I did. Every rock I stacked, every stream I coaxed into something green, every barn I raised, it all meant something. It wasn't just a ranch, it was my freedom, my legacy, my own patch of earth where I could stand up and say I belong. I'm Jack Coulton, ex-Marine fool, according to my friends, spent my life savings on $50,000 worth of worthless dirt and mesquite. But I saw potential. Over 15 years, I turned it into a $3 million a year operation, organic crops, greenhouse, hydroponics, chickens, woodworking, you name it. We put food on the table for 27 families, and I gave this town something to be proud of, which is exactly why Veronica Stroud had her sights set on me. Veronica, 42 lawyer, sharp as a barbed wire fence blazer, pressed tighter than a banker's handshake, showed up 8 months back talking about community modernization. Suddenly I'm buried in permits, my deliveries held up my visitors, limited everything designed to squeeze me out. Today I knew the hammer was about to drop. She slid a violation report across the table, thicker than a phone book, claiming my rooster was breaking the peace, my workshop was too tall, and my farm tours counted as a legal business. You need to shut it all down or move, she said, her voice cold and clean as an empty grave. 15 years of blood and sweat, and this woman wanted me to just walk away. I pointed out the window. You have any idea what it takes to turn desert into paradise? She didn't blink. Emotions don't replace compliance. Mr. Coulton, local rules supersede state permits. It was so orchestrated I could smell the game. This wasn't just about chickens or noise or zoning. This was a hostile takeover, one move at a time. And then the threats started getting weirder. I came home that night to a drone buzzing over my house, then found an envelope in the mailbox. Pictures of my property taken from above, red ink, screaming, "We know everything." I slept with one eye open, set up security cameras, and sure enough found fresh footprints near my barn. That's when I stumbled on a ground-penetrating radar device, $50,000 worth, serial numbers scraped off. Called my old geology professor. He told me flat out, Jack, someone's looking for what's under your feet, not what's on top. Next thing I know, Carter Williams' old, slow-moving, genuine handshake pulls up. Used to be HOA president till Stroud ran me out. You're not her only target. He shows me proof, families pressured to sell, cheap legal threats, new rules overnight, always the same buyer. Alpine Vista Holdings, a company nobody'd heard of before Veronica rolled in. I baited the trap, parked my equipment where I knew it would tick her off, and sure enough got a $5,000 fine and a card from Alpine Vista, "We can make this go away." Subtle as a rattlesnake in a sleeping bag. 2 days later, Davidson from Alpine Vista showed up, suit worth more than my truck smile, like a credit card ad. $18 million for your ranch, all cash, walk away today. When I refused, he got chilly. Legal fees, property liens, HOA lawsuits, they can ruin a man. It was blackmail wrapped in a handshake. That night I found GPS trackers on my tractor's cameras, hidden in fence posts, listening devices in my breaker box. Somebody wanted everything I did recorded. Turns out they were after minerals, rare earth, maybe thorium, who knows what else. And the deeper Carter dug, the more I realized it wasn't just me. 14 families all picked off one by one. Every ranch big enough or old enough to matter suddenly under siege. Alpine Vista was just the face money ran through shell companies and offshore accounts, all roads leading back to a Russian oligarch named Petrov. Twist of fate, my old friend Beth, the town vet who'd saved my cattle, broke down in tears, saying the HOA hit her with noise fines so high she couldn't afford her daughter's heart surgery. I realized this wasn't just my fight anymore. This was about saving people who couldn't fight back. And just when you thought it couldn't get wilder, night vision, foreign-accented thugs breaking onto my land, radiation detectors left in my barn. Beth took one look and told me, Jack, they're hunting for radioactive minerals, uranium, thorium, something they want bad enough to break every law in the book. My mortgage bank suddenly invoked a clause I never saw, threatening foreclosure if minerals were discovered. That's when I saw the whole playbook banks in on it, the HOA, a puppet Alpine Vista, a front. My ranch was just one prize in a global game. But you don't beat a Texan that easy. Carter dug up the original HOA charter Veronica had slipped in a clause giving herself power to partner with foreign resource companies, all without a single vote. We went door to door, gathered signatures, called a special election, and Beth stepped up to run against her, promising to fight for the community, not foreign interests. On election night, just as the news of radiation poisoning in my cattle broke, planted by these same crooks trying to get the feds to seize my land, we packed the community center. Veronica stood at the podium, smug as ever, until I live-streamed the truth, showed soil samples, satellite images, foreign survey teams, everything. Beth announced her campaign, and then the real twist dropped. Marcus, our private investigator, uncovered Veronica's real name. Petrov, daughter of the Russian oligarch behind all this, the shell companies, the illegal surveillance, the payoffs to congressmen. It all unraveled right there on camera. Dmitry Petrov himself stormed in, offered $500 million to cooperate or else face difficulties. I played him the audio of his threats, translated live by Beth, who'd picked up Russian in vet school. The place went silent. Then the vote was counted. Beth won by a landslide, stripped Veronica's fake policies, and we thought it was over. But these folks play for keeps. Federal lawsuits dropped on us overnight. Bank foreclosing, Petrov's lawyers threatening millions in damages, international news calling us xenophobic. My business took a hit, clients' bailed bills piled up. But then a lifeline, the NSA, reached out. Turns out my story had blown open an ongoing federal case about Russian resource theft. They needed me as a witness, and in return they'd protect my ranch, turn it into a research center with federal funding, make sure Petrov never got his hands on Texas minerals again. With Beth as HOA president, the community rallied. We set a trap. Petrov incriminated himself at a meeting full of government agents, bragged about bribery and accidents, all on tape. The feds arrested him, Veronica, and half a dozen dirty politicians. My ranch became the center of American thorium research. Jobs poured in, and we turned the tables so hard that Hollywood called, and we built a national foundation to protect farmers like me. Beth and I got married, needed FBI security at the wedding, if you can believe that, and built a life together, raising 4 kids who know what it means to fight for what's right. Our land powers clean energy for 50 million Americans, the families they tried to ruin. We're stronger than ever. Some call us National Security Village now. And folks come from all over to learn how we did it. So yeah, maybe I was just one stubborn rancher at the start, but together we proved that when Americans stand up side by side, no matter what comes, they can't take from us what we built with our own hands. That's what I call real freedom. But let me ask you, what would you have done if it was your land, your family, your neighbors under attack? Would you have fought back or walked away? If you believe in standing up for what's right, hit that like button, drop a comment, share your own story. Because somewhere out there, someone's trying to take what's yours, and the only thing standing in their way is you and folks like us who don't know how to quit.